SOC Radio welcomes you to Spirituality in the 21st Century with James Devitt, as he and his guests discuss the development, philosophy and growth of spirituality throughout the coming years.
Greetings and blessings, everyone, and welcome to Spirituality for the 21st Century and Beyond. I am your host from the Blue Star Spiritual Group International, coming to you live from Dunedin, New Zealand. My name is James Thomas Devitt. Now, you gotta appreciate spirit and what spirit does. And for us in physical here on good old planet Earth, we have this tendency to get a little bit cranky when things don't happen when we think they should happen. And so it becomes necessary for us to step back a little bit and allow spirit to dictate a little bit more, which creates a situation where we need to have a little bit more trust and faith. Trust and faith is very important, but a trust and faith that spirit knows what it's doing, that it has our back, and that it's going to do the things that is actually for the greatest and highest good for all concerned. Specifically when we're talking about ourselves, for ourselves. Now, my guest today is somebody that is, in my opinion, someone very, very special. She is a good friend of mine. And I've been trying for several weeks now to get her on the show. And she was supposed to be on the show 2 weeks ago. And unfortunately, on that particular show, we had a meltdown, technically speaking, in the background. And the show wasn't aired. And then last week, because my guest, she actually has done the same thing that I've done. And she's recently moved. And so last week, the problem, of course, was no internet access. So that's all been sorted and all been taken care of. And I'm not going to drone on too much today because I really want to spend the majority of my time with this guest. She is the CEO and the founder, the creator, if you will, of the Global Rising Summit. Stand up and be heard. And I was very, very honored to be on the very first. I was a guest speaker on the very first Global Rising Summit. It was actually incredible for me because it was the very first time in my life that I've actually been interviewed. And it was an amazing experience for me all the way around. Please welcome to the show, Heather Ellis Drake Stahnke. How you doing, Heather?
I am absolutely amazing, and I am smiling completely. It's taken us 3 attempts to get together.
Yes, it has.
And we are finally here together in this moment, in this time, to just simply be, to simply express all that we are and who we are completely. So hello, James, and hello, SOC Radio. Incredible.
It's been phenomenal for me because it's something that when I first had the idea of doing the radio show, the very first person that I thought of that I really, really wanted to be on the show was you. You are, without a doubt, one of the most fascinating people that I've ever met.
Thank you.
And you are very, very close to my heart. And we view a lot of things very much the same. And like I was saying at the beginning, trust and faith. And the trust and faith in this situation comes very simple. It's that this interview is going to happen, and that time is now. So I got a few things that I want to be able to ask you and have you expand on for me. And this first bit is something that I really agree so much with. It's the only definitive conclusion is that there are no definitive conclusions.
There's no conclusion.
Now, can you speak about that for a moment and kind of expand on that a little bit?
If we were to make everything in our thought, mind, body, and spirit solid, then there is a conclusion. But if we were to make everything that is fluid with no nothingness. It's fluid. I tend to, I can only tell you all about my experience. Oh, wow, what an incredible, mighty, glorious journey. Everything has to be fluid. Our thoughts, feelings, perceptions.
See, I can't agree more. People really get into trouble when they become too rigid.
Yes.
When they think this is the only way it can be, and this is the only way, and if you don't do it this way, then you're doing it incorrectly and wrong. And that is just...
I can't do that.
No, I can't either, because it's like you have to be fluid. Because one thing that I've noticed, and I'm not sure about you, but one thing that I've noticed is on this journey, and I've been on this journey for a long time, during different phases of this journey, there are certain things that it's like, okay, that's true for me. And then I move into the next phase, and all of a sudden, some of those things that I thought was true for me no longer resonates and are no longer true. And all of a sudden, I've got all these new truths and all these new ideas. And so if you're not fluid in that regard, it's going to stunt your growth.
I totally agree. I saw a video of you the other day. It was actually yesterday, James.
Yeah.
And you put out there on live stream about discernment.
Yes.
And I sat there and watching you, and I thought, oh my gosh, this has to be the truest vulnerability that I have seen in such a long time. We can't be stagnant. We can't be... Look, our energy field, our etheric field, is fluid. We have to go with the flow. Things change from moment by moment by moment by moment.
Yes.
And, I put down a whole long list, and I think since 6 o'clock this morning I've been going, it's 11 a.m. here in New Zealand. What am I going to say to James? How's this interview going to go? Well, I'm just tuning up, and it's through just tuning up and allowing everything to be fluid.
Yes.
Within there are the pearls of wisdom, of being that fluidness of all creation, of all mind, of all spirit and embodiment. I call it embodiment.
Yes, and I mean the next thing that you have said to me is that in order that you have to challenge things to avoid falling into delusions, mystical con jobs, and spiritual ego trips. Now, for me, and you mentioned the video that I did yesterday, the thing that needs to go on top of that is discernment.
We have to have the discernment.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is, you do have to challenge things. And the other thing that I would actually add to that is reflection. Because you have to be able to, you have to reflect on what's occurred to learn the lessons that is there to present it. The whole piece that I did yesterday on the video, for those who may not have seen it, I taught a workshop a while back, and there was somebody of darkness that was there that really caused a lot of issues and problems. And I had been working with this person for a while because I am one of those people. I'm not a light worker and I'm not a dark worker. I will assist whoever comes to me if they come to me from their heart. And so she initially had, and I had worked with her for many, many months. And then she came to that workshop and created a real issue and real problems. And it was my fault because, and I take responsibility because I did not discern properly, and I became lazy in my discernment and my focus. And it'd be very easy for me to blame her and to blame her for creating the problems that arose from what she did. But instead, I thank her.
Absolutely.
Because she reminded me how important it is to discern and how important it is to be mindful all the time, not just occasionally, not get lazy because, well, we know this person or we know that person, but always discern, because, if we don't do that, something's going to happen to trip us up, because Spirit is always going, okay, well, you're going to do this. Okay, well, let's make sure you're actually going to do this. And so I took it really on board. But having said that, you can't be cynical either.
No.
Because like you said, you have to be open to the possibility of all things.
Mm-hmm.
But
James, when I watched you yesterday, one thing, because you know me.
Yes, I do.
I for 11 months I've been going through this stuff. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what I found is that I would go within and I would say, have I created this stuff?
Oh, yeah.
What is within me that has created this stuff? And I always say to all my students and people around the world, first thought, right thought, yes or a no. Are you confident enough to accept that yes or that no? Look, honestly, this conversation is going to take us a lot and a long way to be able to give humanity the tools, if you would like to say, to I was right after all. Stuff happens to us. And sometimes we need to go through stuff to be able to recognize that actually it wasn't our stuff. But we still have to go through that process to recognize that actually wasn't our stuff. I'm just thinking about your video from yesterday. It really touched a lot of people. You had a lot of views. Even though that people are very silent about something, when they see something, they're very silent, but they're taking it all in because you're giving them the sacredness or the space to be able to accept it. And what I find about humanity is that they don't actually like to accept that if they've made a mistake. That you showed yesterday that there was a mistake that was made. There was an adhere to, listen to me, it wasn't accepted. But what I saw within you yesterday was that vulnerability, that you could stand up as this beautiful teacher, this beautiful mentor, this beautiful person that you are, and said, holy shit, I actually made a mistake.
See, this show is about spirituality in the 21st century. And now part of that, and now, having been on this path for as long as I have seen a lot. Mm-hmm. I have been around a lot of different groups from meditation and mindfulness groups to psychic development groups to Ashtar command groups to so on and so on and so on and so on. And the one thing that I've noticed probably the most, and probably the most disappointing, is the number of people who claim to be on a spiritual path but who do not take personal responsibility for that path. And spirituality in the 21st century is all about, if you're going to walk a spiritual path, you need to have and own that personal responsibility for your actions, for what you do, for your learning, for your interactions, for your discernment. It comes down to you, because at the end of the day, the only person you can choose for or control is you.
Absolutely. And it begins with you.
Yes.
Anything that you think, do, say, or feel, it absolutely begins with you. And that brings me to someone, I think it was you that asked me about healing. How is it that you do what you do? I take responsibility. I clean myself up. I take responsibility in what I think, do, and say. And how is it that I do what I do is because I learned right from the very beginning is that it all begins with me. It's not about the other person. It's all about you.
Well, I mean, actually, on that note, something that you've also said to me, just because you or anyone has worked on yourself,
yes,
does not mean that the person standing next to you has.
That's the collective field. I've got so many people, I guess in the last month, contact me, and I've been unable to connect with them due to internet problems, which is possibly a good thing. How do I protect myself? What is it that I need to protect myself from? What else can I do to be able to keep myself pure? And I always ask that question, what is it that you need protecting from?
Yeah, all right. What do you need protecting from?
Are you harboring? I mean, when I say harboring, are you harboring unkindness, judgmental, condemnation, critical mind?
Correct.
And I will go into this. Are you pornography? Are you sinisterly behind scenes wishing, projecting thoughts onto people? Thoughts become things. And I'm very hot on that topic. It's because out there, well, actually, no, it's actually not out there. It's within here. In the collective field, we are part of the whole. So when you've done that hard work on yourself, your next door neighbor or that person that you work with next door haven't. So you are in that collective field, and you can, and I will say this, no one is immune. We can pick up thoughts, feelings, and things from another human being.
Correct. Now, for myself, I started channeling in August of 1989. And the first two beings I ever channeled were Archangels Gabriel and Raphael. And the first thing they taught me when I started channeling, they said, you must set your rules. And I'm like, what do you mean set my rules? And they were like, when you do this work, whether you're going to do a healing, a channeling, whatever you're going to do, you need to set your rules. So I came up with rules, and later on, as I learned more about my true self and where I come from, they altered a little bit. But I actually said these rules every time before I did a healing, a session with a client, taught a class, whatever, for 23 years. And finally, at one point, after 23 years of setting my rules, they came to me and said, okay, you don't need to do that anymore. It's like it was literally, I had done it so much, it was literally written in stone.
Yeah.
And even at that, for about the next 6 to 7 months, I would find myself doing.
Okay, so what we were just saying is basically, we all come together, and as James was explaining, for 23 years, there are rules that he set in stone that was accepted, just the same as I did, before I did a healing, before I did a live event or something. There was something that I must do before I met the crowd, and that was to go within, and that was to ask Spirit, ask God, whoever you believe in, what is within me that is knowingly or unknowingly that I can be a block, so to speak, for another human being. And they are the set of rules that I did. I don't know about James. I think James is here. Hi, James.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, good. My laptop's doing weird things. Basically, so setting rules. Setting rules is very, very important. So these are the rules that I started off when I first was taught to do this. This is what I did. I command in the totality of the Lord God, Goddess that I am, that only those beings of light who are here for my highest and greatest good are allowed to communicate to me, through me, or be around my energy field, so be it.
Absolutely. And that's the command.
Now, the thing is, this is a planet of free will choice.
Mm-hmm.
There are things that we have chosen before we incarnated that once we have incarnated, we're oblivious as far as that we have chosen those things. But if you're going to do this kind of work, by setting your rules, you're letting spirit know, shall we say, that of what you will and won't allow.
Mm.
And that helps to keep things on a pure nature. And it's obvious that somebody doesn't like the fact that I was going to share that. I see the little games.
Yeah, and what I love about it, James, is the fact that, with that command and that, like I've got this, don't know.
No.
It's actually, I am here, you are there, I'm living in this world, and actually, you do not command me. I actually say, who are you? Where do you come from? Are you an influence? And be seen. Let me see you. And this is where the discernment comes into. Exactly what you said about yesterday.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
have to take control. We're not. We have. Look, guys. Let me be me for a moment. The apron strings, the spiritual apron strings. It's actually us that are living here. We are in suffering, we are experiencing, we are listening, we are doing, we are being. So who is that influence that sometimes influences us? Hang on, just wait a moment. You've had your time here on planet Earth. It's actually my time. What is it that I can do for you? What is it that I can? We need to have that confidence within ourselves that we are magnificent, gorgeous human beings. But what we do is that we give our power away to something out there that truly has been here, but we are actually here and we are in that collective field and we have to work in harmony together. Whether it's wrong, whether it's right. We have to learn that discernment, go within, hand on heart and go, actually that is causing me harm. And taking that control, taking that command and say, actually, this is not what humanity is needing. I've got so much to say on this topic. James,
and that's good. No, that's good because, I mean, these are the types of things that people need to hear. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, look, let's be honest here. In my travels around this planet, there have been so many people, and I have seen so many people who regularly give their power away. They give it to a group or they give it to an individual, and it's like, the problem is, in my opinion, in my view, is that many of these people have such has such an issue, has such a problem with recognizing the sacredness that they are. And because they have a problem recognizing the sacredness that they are, they don't actually feel as though they are worthy enough to have their own opinion, to be able to go within and discern. They would rather give it to somebody else because they can't be bothered, or they distrust themselves so much that they're like, well, I have to give it to so and so because they're more knowledgeable than I am. And it's like, actually, no. They may have done the work to get themselves to where they are right now.
Or we could tip it up on the side here, James, and call them that they believe that they're so special and they're the Chosenites. I mean, we're talking about expansion, and we're talking about what is actually out there, out in the world. And I've seen every horrific, amazing, beautiful, pure, and miracle, but I've also seen the most horrific, amazing, pure, oh my God, does this really exist?
Yes.
And, the Chosenites and the special ones that have got all these people working for you, tip it on the scale a little bit. I've kind of traveled this journey with those who don't know anything about me. I had a near-death experience 18 years ago, And I traveled into a world beyond brain injury, having to learn to talk again. You know, I've been on national TV, so many radio shows, so many this, and this. But when people got word of me, James, you know, they wanted to come in and use me as a pawn in their guru. And I will say this quite clearly, with tears in my heart and tears in my eyes, that everything that I was to do on this planet Earth as a walk-in, you know, you're going to all find out about later about what a walk-in is all about, because we've all walked in. People have this need to control, condemn. You know, there's always an opposite to everything. The occults that are out there that want to take you and put you onto a pedestal because you're a walk-in. Well, hello, what's so special about that? We've all walked in. And I had to journey through that because people use me as a product, and I will say this as a product. And all along, James, my heart bled that this was not the way. This is not why I came to planet Earth. This is what is not my connection to Spirit. Spirit doesn't tell me, or God doesn't tell me that I should do this. But I had to go through that to be able to bring me back in my worthiness and actually who I am today. And this is what I teach people. You know, the misfits will inherit the earth. We've got all denominations, all creations upon this earth plane. This is a beautiful, glorious, beautiful earth. And we've got this one over there. We've got that one over there. We've got this one over there. We've got these people over there. And you know what? If we could all get out of our own way and not rely on anyone else but ourselves and our worthiness, that we are worthy human beings to be able to accept this collective field that we're in, and we're all here to make a difference, no matter what nationality, which star being you are, what your knowing is. You know, mine is God. Where I come from is pureness. It's so fascinating. There is never ever to be any judgment, condemnation, critical mind. And I could have actually did a sermon on the hill here, right here with you. But on what I'm actually saying is, if we could really tap into the most magnificent, worthy human being on this planet, this world will be a different place. Because of the likes of you, James, because of the likes of Sock Radio, because of the likes of Tracy, Julie, the ones that are getting out there, getting up and day by day, the likes of me, the likes of Janine, the likes of everybody that are putting something out there on a platform for the viewers to hear us. Because we do make a difference, and all we're doing is just simply being who we are to allow that other human being to come forth and go, oh my gosh, it's that aha moment, hand on heart, and go, I am truly special, I am truly beautiful, because I see you, we see you. It's time now to break those old thresholds of cords, ties, thousands of centuries of war. We were actually speaking about war before, weren't we, James?
Oh yeah.
Of connection, of disaster, of forebears, of what's happened on this earth plane. It's time to let it go. And what I say right here, right now, is who you are is not what was. Who you are is right here, right now. You're bringing in, you wouldn't be here otherwise. You've got a calling, you've got something to say, you've got something, but you do not need another creature, I'll call it, or another something to be able to bring through something that's not even in an alignment with you, to cut you off, to send you off kilter, because you need to understand that you're the most incredible human being. You're the incredible misfit. that is about to make change on planet Earth. No matter who you are, you're all gifted. Every single human being here is gifted. And it's time to take hold of that.
That is very true, you know. And I mean, I do understand very well the whole walk-in scenario. I know that for you, yours happened much later in life. For myself, I too am a walk-in, and mine happened at the age of 2. So for me, it was a little bit different because I didn't have the, let's say, some of the issues that an individual has when they walk in later on in life. Mine, I'm very well aware of why I walked in and everything, and yours, I believe, was a little bit of a different scenario. The one thing that you did say that I personally, I don't really think is well, for me anyway, doesn't really resonate a whole lot is that everyone has walked in. Only because I do know that for a lot of people, because if you are a walk-in, and don't get me wrong here, it's not about being special or not special or anything else, but generally when there is a walk-in, it's because there is something very important that individual is here to accomplish and to do. And, you know, it's so much so, especially when it happens later on in life, it's almost like it's very important to recognize, if you will, the fact that it's almost like an individual has to go through this process of walking in, because there are certain attributes, let's just say, that you wouldn't have if you walked in later on in life, that you would have had you been actually born and raised from birth. And it's because there are things that you need to do and things that need to be done to allow a greater transformation to occur.
When I said that about everyone walked in, I was saying that, you know, coming through the birthing process.
Oh, yeah.
And I know some incredible walk-ins, myself included, you and a couple of other people, that have actually come in because the prayers have been put out there for help.
Oh, yeah.
And so I call them the tall boys or the tall girls, or someone that has listened. Will we take up on this? And will we come through to be able to help humanity in those amazing ways, especially here in our culture in New Zealand, James? And you're here in New Zealand. You know, the mana, the prophecy here with the Maori communities where the walk-ins have been and they were coming again.
Definitely.
So I know of the prophecies, and I know of these incredible people that have come through, the likes of myself and the likes of others. But ultimately, in the end of the day, when I say walk in, is humanity did walk in through the birthing process right at the very beginning.
Yes.
Mainly for the fact that I say this is because that everyone is special. Everyone is worthy.
And I, you know, I've been trying to tell people this for a long time. The phraseology that I normally use is every single person is sacred and worthy. And, you know, you want to change your life, the first thing you have to do, bar none, is you have to change how you view yourself. And that is just vitally, vitally important. Because if you don't change the way you view yourself, nobody else around you is going to change the way they view you either. And you're absolutely, what you say is correct. It's there is things happening on this planet as we speak that is vitally important. Now, there is something that has happened to me so many times in my life, and generally, I have never really shared this with anyone outside of my wife, Janice, who knows this because she's done the same thing. I can't tell you how many people that I've come across, and it's like they have prayed, and it's been a prayer of the heart, very, very, deep heart prayer, and I've come along to answer their prayer. I remember once I was at a spiritual gathering, and one of the presenters, after it was over with, I walked up to her and I said, "I have a message for you if you don't mind." And she goes, "Okay, and what is that?" I said, "The question that you asked, Spirit, the answer is yes." And she just broke down in tears, and she knew instantly that what she had wanted to know or ask, I mean, I have no idea what the question was or what she requested or asked, but all I knew is that I had to come around and go, "Here's your answer." Yeah. And it's something that I've done all my life, and it just really is an amazing feeling.
Can I share something with you?
Well, of course you can.
That's exactly the same as me. I've said to everybody, and I think I said it on national TV and radio, the call went out. Humanity put this call out, help. Every prayer that people put out there, help, I'm dying, help, help. And through that prayer, through that help, that's why many of us have come here. Well, I've got to be honest, I've only met a couple of people, which is you. Very few, actually. And, just what you do, James, in touching another human being, touches thousands and millions in that moment in time. Because we are in that collective field, so everybody feels that, hi, I see you. How can I help you? And it expands out not only to that person, but to other human beings. Yeah.
Definitely.
It's where there's one, there's many. And that's
correct.
What I say. So when we're doing a healing, it's not for just that person as a walker.
No.
We're doing that healing for millions of people for that exact same affliction, I call it. Affliction. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I mean, when we do things and it goes into the collective unconsciousness, then it's a situation where anybody, I mean, like living here in New Zealand, you could have a situation where someone in Africa, someone that you don't know, you've never met, you'll never meet, they then are able to access what you've done in the collective unconsciousness and do something in their life which changes their life and changes their perspective. And they may be sitting there going, "Man, I don't know where this came from, but it really, this works. This is really making a massive difference for me." And the thing is that where they got it was from the collective unconsciousness, because somebody, whether it be you, me, or somebody else, has done something that has put that into the collective unconsciousness,
yes,
which can then be accessed by anybody that's on the planet.
Do you know when I pray, when I eat, because I pray a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not talking about the religious sense. Oh, look, let's just get rid of that word because I really don't look at it that way.
Yeah.
When I walk this planet, everything that I do as a human being and this gorgeous woman that I am is a living prayer.
Yes.
And everything that I eat, everything in the quantum field of that spiritualness of who we are, I'm feeding the people that are hungry through me eating. It's that collective field. It's that collective consciousness. Whenever I'm feeling down, it's because everybody else is in pain. So what do? I rise above that and bring joy and harmony and peace across in that quantum field. There's so much that you and me, James, and other people can discuss about. We have the ability as a human being, as a beautiful human being, embodied in this gorgeous human body, to be change in people's lives from your next door neighbor. And this is where I play. This is where I kind of get myself into trouble because people don't understand it. I don't need to do anything but be it because I am worthy of that.
Exactly. That's the exact situation. See, that's the difference, I feel. One of the big differences. As an example, you recognize and acknowledge within yourself that you are worthy.
I'm so worthy.
And if more and more people, and the thing is, and this is part of the problem I feel, because if somebody were to go around going, I'm sacred and I'm worthy, well, I know that, where I grew up in the States, the first thing that someone would say to you is, boy, you're really selfish, aren't you? You got a pretty big ego there. and it's like, it has nothing to do with ego, and it has nothing to do with anything like that. What this has to do with is acknowledging something that is really potent. Now, a thing that I saw, and I saw this, God, I realize I might be telling my age a little bit, but
Don't tell anybody.
Oh yeah, I know. This is going back to January of 1987 in Oklahoma City, and I was in Oklahoma in essence for Christmas because my grandmother had passed away on November 30th of 86, and I'm sitting and at the bar, this little bar that separated the kitchen from the dining room, and the lounge room was to the left, and it was about 2 p.m, and my mom was at work, and my grandfather was in the bedroom resting, and basically I saw my grandmother, which amazed the hell out of me because I'm not visual, and normally I don't have beings who have crossed over come and see me at all anyway. So, but the amazing thing was that night and the next night on ABC television in Oklahoma City, was the 2-part miniseries Out on a Limb with Shirley MacLaine. And it was all about her spiritual search. And they had in there about channeling and healings and psychics and UFOs and her experiences that she had in Peru and at Machu Picchu and everything like that. And it was really amazing. But the one thing that kind of stuck with me was the fact that here we had a situation where, I mean, how brave can you be in we're talking 1987 here, and we have someone who's a very well-respected actress who is literally putting out there, this is what's happened to me in my life, and I'm sharing it with everybody. And there was so much flack that she was given for her beliefs and what she put out there, but she stuck to that. And what I took from that was the fact that there are going to be people who are going to put you down, who's going to try and persuade you against believing what you believe or trusting in what you feel and what you discern. And at the end of the day, the only person that you dishonor by allowing somebody else to dictate that to you is yourself. You have to be willing to say, this is who I am, and if you don't like it, well, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. And I've had to do the same thing myself.
Exactly, and I did too, James. You know, as I'm listening to you talk, you know, you brought me back to a moment when I was in my coma and I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk. This body was nothing. And it was absolutely nothing, and yet I heard the sounds and thoughts in people's heads. I still, to this day, I know exactly what people are thinking. But I had to come to a point in my coma, you know, from the beings, from home, from God. I could only I could only listen to them, even though that I was woken up gently for a few seconds, listening to the density of this human form, of people's minds and thoughts. It was a battlefield. But when I was taken back into my coma, this is where the real initiation, the real training began for me. I had to fully embrace who I was as this incredible human being, and that I had incredible teams of people coming in to assist me, to help me, to nurture me, to say, this is you, Heather. You need to understand who and what you are and why you have come here. And my greatest battle was humanity, and I will say this for you all, is that I know where I come from. I know who speaks to me. I know, and I had to go through this because every human being goes through this. We have this innate ability to be incredible human beings, and we've been put a stop on, if that makes sense. But I had to overcome, I am worthy, I can do this, I can be this. I have to journey into the journey that I have to go through to be able to help another human being, one person at a time. There's a message that's just come through, James, and it's from Fellini. And she seems to think, and she tends to think, that we all develop more or not. If your life is on purpose to have to use our tools, that you will have that to be able to follow up. I agree with her. We've got this innate ability as an individual, as a human being, to be that all, you know, but we haven't been given the tools because we've been blocked. There are things out there that will not accept us to be able to express and feel the way that we feel. And it's the likes of you, James, the likes of me and other walk-ins to be able to say to humanity publicly, you have this tool to be able to be you.
Yes, definitely.
You and I can talk thousands of miles, if you would like to say that. Between you and I, we've got these years upon us to be able to express and say, because of our own individual journey. But what I ultimately want to say to Fellini, yes, you have something there, Fellini. And I want to say, with the deepest part of my heart and the deepest part of my knowing, is that there is something there. And between James and I, right here, right now, we're giving you the, what would you call it, James? The authority, the command to say, hey, we see you. I see you. Be you. And let everything be for you to be able to come back to yourself and let everything be. Let it unfold naturally without having to seek these gurus out there. tap into your own innate ability of listening, as James said yesterday in his live. I love your live. Your live. I just so love your live.
Yes, yes.
Be who you are as a human being, as this incredible human being. I am no different to you. But I will say, and I will say, walk-ins have come onto this earth because you prayed for us.
And that's absolutely true. It is absolutely true because, I mean, as I was saying, when walk-ins come in, it's because there's something really, really important that they need to do or accomplish. And the thing is, and what I think a lot of people need to understand is the fact that just because somebody is a walk-in, it doesn't mean that they are better than anybody else. But what it means is that they are basically they're answering a prayer. And even if people don't understand or know where that particular prayer came from, it is fascinating to me.
Awesome.
And it is. And it's like there's so see one of the things that I think kind of has always kind of annoyed me, and this was something I couldn't break free from when I was a kid. When I was growing up in church and everything, and I just couldn't get my head around. They made out like life was so simple. You believe this way and this happens, and if you don't believe that way, this will happen. Have a nice day. That's all there is. And it's like, no, that doesn't resonate for me. And the thing is that this world is so complex and so amazing and so incredible, and that we need to understand and realize that we are actually part of something that is so amazing. There are literally, and I know that I have a tendency to not necessarily go down this track very often. But to me, it's like right now they're saying, the guys upstairs are saying, it's time to go down this track. So I'm going to go down this track. And the thing that people need to understand is there are literally species of people from other worlds. They are not incarnated on this planet. They are not a volunteer. They're not part of the project necessarily here, but they are there watching what's happening here, because this is literally one of the greatest shows in the universe at this time.
Absolutely.
We are on the cusp of something that is mind-blowingly amazing. And people need to understand that each person that is on this planet, and I don't care if you're a volunteer, I don't care if you're a native human, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, people are watching you. People are watching what's going on here. They are interested in what's happening here because they know that we have crossed a threshold that is going to literally change everything. Not only on this planet, but there are some of the things that are happening here literally are creating ripples that is being felt by worlds on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy.
Can I tell you something?
Please.
When I've got so much to say, we're coming up to the hour now. We're going to, but I just want to say to the viewers, you haven't seen anything yet of James and I. We're going to tap into the incredible ability of miraculous, if you would like to call it miraculous healing. I saw James recently in the thing that I produced as a CEO with Janine, and prior to that, of incredible miraculous healing. And we're going to touch on that after the hour, because I want you as the people to understand who James is, who I am to other people that have been here waiting for all these years of miraculous healing. And the blue star, which is, well, actually for me, the blue star which James represents is actually the blue pearl.
Yes.
I have seen hundreds that I work behind the scenes, and no one knows this. The hundreds of people of poor communities of miraculous healing, and we're going to touch on that, James, after this hour, because I want to tell people who we actually are as a walk-in. I want to give people the encouragement of knowing this, that it's beautiful. It's a beautiful world.
It is, and I agree completely with that. And what we're going to be doing, what I'd like to do in the moment, if you don't mind, before we go on a break, I would like you, Heather, if you would,
yes,
just let people know where they can find you online.
Actually, I'm pretty quiet, James, because I work behind the scenes of incredible communities, poorer communities. I'm kind of like a Mother Teresa. I go in behind the scenes where body limbs have disappeared, broken bones, car accidents, cancers. This is where I thrive. I like seeing people walk again after horrendous, incredible physical pain, suffering. That's where I work. And you can actually find me. My website is actually, to tell you the truth, very silent at this present point in time, because God has taken me into silence. But it's at www.heatherellisdrake.com.
Cool. And of course, you can find me at www.bluestarspiritual.com. And when we come back, we're gonna delve even more deeper into walk-ins, into what's going on the planet at this time, what's actually, and even maybe touch a little bit about what's going on off planet as well.
Yes, and mass healing, James. Mass healing. This is where you and I thrive. Is that we can have thousands of people, and everybody. Well, honestly, come back after the hour. We've got some amazing, incredible between James and I to give to you, because we can do it online and we can do it out in the ether.
Right back after some messages from our sponsors. Enjoy these and information from SOC Radio and rejoin us in a few minutes. SOC Radio aims to provide a wide range of hosts, shows, views and opinions, while endeavouring to maintain our three vital principles of openness, honesty and integrity, covering all aspects of spiritualism, mediumship, healing, personal and spiritual development for all faiths, religions and walks of life as a way of life. As part of our spiritualistonline.com, Spiritualist Online Network and Lyceum, SOC Radio brings you the latest and honest news, views and names in the spiritual field. Check us out and tune in to SOC Radio on spiritualistonline.com. Join in the SOC Radio chat room on the website. Advertise with SOC Radio. 10, 15, 20 or 30-second jingles, adverts or promotions, all going out live on SOC Radio. Promote your services, churches, groups or events at the best rates online. Work with us on shows or promotion and you can get your jingles absolutely free. For this and more, contact Julie at socradioshows@gmail.com. Beyond the Veil with Terry Oz. Check it out first Monday, monthly, 2 p.m. UK time. Terry shares her experiences and love of spiritual communication with those from beyond the veil. Join us live in the SOC Radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Spiritualistonline.com. Online since 2002, teaching all aspects of personal and spiritual development. free to all with audio video chat rooms, members forums, and SOC radio live shows on site. The Spiritualists Online Network and Lyceum, a global oasis for spiritual awareness, development, attainment, imparting knowledge, thoughts, ideas to inspire. One site, linking a whole network of spiritually informative, educational and interactive services, encompassing every faith, path, walk, religion as one. Astrology Chat with Chrissy Lincoln, Psychological Body and Spirit. Monthly chat show, last Tuesday of the month, 1 to 3 p.m. New Zealand time. The Circle of Mediums radio show. 6 mediums, healers, psychics, tarot, astrologers, spiritual workers every week, sharing spirit messages, development techniques, guidance and much more. Live in the SOC radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com. Search SOC Radio. Would you like to contribute readings, thoughts, teachings and time to this 2-hour show? Get in touch at socradioshows@gmail.com. Spirit Weavers with Jodie White Wolf Morrison, a weekly 1-hour radio show, Thursdays 8 p.m. UK time, featuring those who are dedicated to living their spirituality and exploring how that is woven into their everyday lives through their work, practices and beliefs. Various SOC members from Spiritualists Online Network and Lyceum sharing their abilities, knowledge and more. Dates and times will vary. Live in the SOC radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Talk with Julie. Spirits medium Julie Simpson and guests delve into the world of spirit, the faith and the way of life, renewing the movement that brought 2 worlds together and ancient spiritual beliefs to the forefront of society, proving once and for all there is nothing to fear in talking to spirit. Live in the SOC radio chat room on spiritualistonline.com or simply listen in at tunein.com and search for SOC Radio. Myths and Legends with Jeanette Jade and guests, Monday at 10 a.m. UK time and 11 p.m. New Zealand time. Do you like ghost stories? Are you interested in true, historical and fictional spooky tales? Then join us each Monday for some spooky tales from Facebook group Ghosts, the Paranormal, Supernatural Myths and Legends. Psychic medium Jeanette and her guests chat and discuss these and other stories, personal experiences alongside some readings and messages from Spirit and more. Dare you call in and share your stories? Add Circle of Mediums to your Skype and join in the show. Welcome back to Spirituality in the 21st Century with James Devitt and his guests discussing the future of spirituality.
Go, guys.
Welcome back to Spirituality for the 21st Century and Beyond. I am your host from the Blue Star Spiritual Group International, James Thomas Devitt. With me today is an amazing lady, Heather Ellis Drake Stahnke. We've been going for the first hour, and in this second hour, we're going to be doing some things a little bit differently. So if you are feeling down, if you are feeling like you're unable to do anything, if you have some sort of ailment, I want you to just be open to receiving a healing, because that is what we are going to be doing as we speak. All right.
Hi, James.
How you doing?
I'm really good. I'm sitting in the middle of the North Island and listening to our beautiful SOC radio host, Tess, I would call her. Incredible things are going to happen in this hour, like I said before. James, we were talking about walk-ins before, weren't we?
Yes.
Why they have come to planet Earth?
Yes. Definitely.
Absolutely.
They,
Yeah. Gorgeous.
Certain individuals will come and one of the more famous, shall we say, walk-ins that I personally am aware of is a gentleman named by the name of Daniel Brinkley.
Mm-hmm.
And he came in and he wrote a book, and he's written a couple of books, I believe, on the walk-in experience. And I honestly kind of always felt like one of the main reasons that he walked in was to write the books, to let people know that walk-ins is an actual phenomenon that's happening on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And because I think for a lot of people, they look at the possibility and they're like, well, why would a soul leave and not come back?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, there are situations where a soul has had enough, and they have decided at a very deep level they're going to leave. They're not going to stay around. And what ends up happening is spirit will look at that situation and they'll go, that life, that lifetime can actually work to our benefit. And there's a soul who can enter into that, into that physical body and carry on and go on from there and be able to go in and do what they need to do. For myself, it was a little bit different because for me, it was a prior agreement that somebody else was going to enter into the physical body for a couple of years, because what they wanted to experience is birth, and they wanted to experience the first couple of years, and that's all they really wanted to experience. And then for me, it was perfect for me because there was things I needed to do after the physical body had been born and then come in. Now, for me, it was easier because I came in at the age of 2. So there wasn't a situation where people's going, well, your mannerisms have changed and your attitudes have changed. And when you come in much later on in life, it's like, you don't really seem like the same person. Did that accident cause more problems? And because the bottom line is that person is different. They are not the same person that they were before. They are not the same person that experienced high school and experienced their first kiss and all of these things. And they generally will have more memories of where they come from. So
you really touched on an incredible subject here. As I was listening to you, I'm only 18 years here.
Yes.
And as you were speaking, of no memory prior to that 18 years of family, of anything at all. Oh my gosh, what an incredible, amazing journey as a walk-in to come to planet Earth to bring something to humanity. There are 2 sides of the coin that I want to speak about in this moment.
Oh, please.
The one that really sticks out really fast and fury for me at this present point in time, James, is the fact that you are shut down not to be able to speak out about being a walk-in. But I've had incredible people for the past 6 years, actually, to be truthful. We've had national TV, Massey University, people who I have stepped up for people to speak about their near-death experiences, because it all comes back down to near-death experiences, who you were prior, who you were afterwards. I mean, I put everything on the line, as my family, my personal life, to say, I actually am a walk-in, that there is a different world out there. But you know what brings me joy is meeting people like you, James, to meeting people like Tracy just now in our break. We have this incredible ability to be able to be and do anything within seconds. So now let's come back to the healing. This is my forte. James, you have this incredible forte, which I absolutely adore. Excuse the dogs here just for one moment. But I have this incredible ability to stand in front of thousands of people in the quantum field and the physical field. And I'm able to see into everybody's body as a walk-in. I'm talking about a walk-in here. You know, who is listening here about, hang on, I'm just going to let these babies just one moment. You know, who has listened to The Green Mile? Who's watched that movie?
I have seen that movie. It's an amazing movie.
The Negro guy?
Yeah.
That's me.
Ah, yes.
I'm able to go into hundreds of people in one given point in time. And I'm able to go into people's bodies and I'm able to assist them in their ailments. I have kept everything quiet for such a long time because I started to put it out there in the human form and people couldn't cope with it. I shut myself down a little bit more. I think for this last year I've shut myself down and other people have spiritually shut me down. But I had this incredible ability to go into people's bodies, their minds and their brains and their spirit. And within seconds, transformation happens. Healing takes place.
Yes.
So where I come from, I came from a place that is so beautiful. I didn't know anything about planet Earth. I knew nothing about planet Earth. So where I come from, there were 13 of us. I was actually only female there. And there was a call that went out. Could someone come to Earth? And I put my hand up. I go, yeah, I'll come. I'll come.
Sorry about the laughter. I'm actually currently doing a reading
of me
for Heather, and what she's just said, and I'm not going to go into details or anything like that, but what she just said has already come out in the reading.
Are you going to be kidding me? Because I haven't even told you that.
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh my gosh. I just said to Father, yeah, I'll come. I didn't even know what planet Earth was all about. And I had this younger brother that I was so in love with and so in tune with. And he disappeared. He threw a tantrum. He said to Father, she's not ready to come. And I go, no, I'll come. I didn't even know what planet Earth was all about. And look, honestly, if you saw my television program, you will understand what I'm actually saying. The body that I came into was dead. Truthfully, it was dead. And we did it on TV and all that other yummy stuff. And it was the fact of the matter is, I was here for a reason in my innocence, if that makes sense. And it was like, I had 3 missions. I'm going to say this as a walk-in. I had 3 missions, and that was to set the people free of their pain, of their infliction, and to show that there was no hate and perfect love, and to seek the blue pearl. Now, I woke up from my coma after 2 years. I went out to every second-hand shop looking for the blue pearl. Looking for this jewelry. Now, please don't tell anybody that. Shut up. I was looking for this blue pearl. I went to every pearl shop. My jewelry box is covered in pearls. And I'm going, what do you mean by seeking the blue pearl? And then I met James, the blue. What are you called now, sweetheart? Whatever you're called.
Yeah.
But anyway, I played the game of what humanity wanted to play. People used, people abused, people, you've got, the horror stories were tremendous. And, it was only up until 6 years ago that I decided to exit humanity. So I took on this profession as Massey University. I decided to take myself out of humanity. I decided to work with pigs and genetics. I decided that I was never, ever, ever, ever going to have any contact with humanity because I can hear the sounds of people's heads. I know what they're thinking, and it was really hard for me whether you want to call it clairvoyant, clairgnostic, but
clairaudience, I think.
Clairaudience, I can actually hear the sound of a pin drop thousands of miles away. So I decided that I didn't actually want anything to do with humanity because it was really cruel and really mean. I knew nothing about spirituality. I knew nothing about love and light. I knew absolutely nothing, and I decided to take several years until I met my beautiful husband to just be with God. The pigs taught me how to run. The pigs taught me how to speak. The pigs taught me how to be as a human being on this earth plane. I have a PhD. And then all of a sudden I met the ugliness of spirituality, New Age, I'm going to say it, New Age. These people took me on a journey where, it's a freaking awesome book, James. You don't want to know. But at the same time, this is what we all experience as a human being. I was actually descending into humanity where people are looking out there as ascending. Does that make sense?
Oh, yes, yeah.
So the walk-ins are descending and humanity is ascending. And I'm going, I am not liking the density in this human form. I cannot cope. I cannot walk. I cannot speak. I cannot talk. And now I have to learn all this other stuff. So it's like I've had to understand the descending and I've had to understand the ascension.
And it's funny because, you walked in 18 years ago.
Yes.
Right. I walked in at the age of 2. And even though I walked in at the age of 2, I have had to basically learn much of the same things. I've had to learn, it's like I cannot tell you how often I have gone around and seen what people do and how they act and how they treat each other. And for me, it's like I look at it and I'm like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't, and trying to find the right voice, that people will respond to has been a challenge for me as well. So I understand that very, very well.
Yeah. I'm just typing to this beautiful person here. Hey, the most enjoyment that I get out of life, sitting here in the middle of the North Island in New Zealand, that I have this ability within not even a second, honestly, James, not within a second the other day, is to give someone a new gallbladder. I can do transplants of limbs without even a thought. I can. Oh my God. It's so beautifully, graciously beautiful that we can do anything that we can. But with this radio show, oh my gosh, how beautiful. He was the actor on The Green Mile. We can do all these incredible things, James, can't we? You and I.
Well, we can. And the thing is, and I think what a lot of people need to understand is the fact that the first real thing that an individual has to do is they have to come to the realization, and it's a life-altering realization. It really, really is. That anything literally is possible.
Mm-hmm.
And once an individual realizes that literally anything is possible, it all of a sudden changes how we view life and how we view things. And I remember, there was a particular day when I literally had to come to grips that there was something a lot bigger than me going on in this world, and that I was actually very much a part of it. And it took a lot for me to actually accept the fact that I was actually a part of something that was in actual fact very, very major on this planet. And there have been many times when I feel things and I sense things and I, experience things. And in truth, I never say what it is that I experience or feel. And it's partially because it's a situation where you're trying to connect at a particular level. And what I've come to realize in truth is the fact that there is so much more going on than meets the eye. And that if you are going to make a difference in this world, you have got to start at the basic. And when I say the basic, I mean, it's like about time we head back to the basics. And the first basic that any individual has to go to, it's not outside yourself.
No.
It's actually where it resides is within you. You have got to get to a point where you can actually look at yourself and realize just how sacred and worthy you truly are. And if you can actually understand that, then and only then will you actually be ready to proceed.
So much, James, you and I could talk about.
Well, I know, and the thing is it's one of the things that has kind of like makes me laugh a little bit is we could actually probably do a show that would probably go for 5 or 6 hours, and at the end of it, we'd probably look at each other and go, "Is that it?"
Is that it?
Because we could probably go for days, and on things like this, I can literally go for days because this is my passion. This is who I am. So
yeah.
So let me ask you this: where over the course of, let's say, the next 5 years, what do you feel is the potential that has the potential of coming out over the course of the next 5 years?
And what I see and what I know is, and what I was told, is that Carnegie Hall.
Yes, we were speaking about that, yes.
Many countries.
Yes.
Thousands of people, millions of people. And the reason why I say this, James, is because this is what people are wanting.
I agree.
It's truth.
When we were talking about that, there was something that I actually didn't mention to you. What I didn't.
You need to come clear with me now.
Okay, what I didn't mention to you is I've actually seen, well, in the way that I see, the same thing.
Yeah.
For myself. And I have actually not a specific place per se, but I have seen this as well, and I've seen the difference that is made. And it's one of those things that, when I feel it and when I go there and allow myself to feel it, because it is one of those things that when you feel this, the only thing that's in your mind is, can we do it now?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that pops into my head instantaneously is, well, can we do it now? And so I'm just mind blown when you mentioned it to me, because it was like, it was almost a feeling within me of going, now, Heather, would you please not take things out of my head anymore?
Yeah, but you, James, look, you've got to remember, I
know.
hear the thoughts and the sounds of people's heads. I know exactly where people are, but I also have my own. And that was right in the middle of my coma when I was a nothingness. I was told that I will be in Carnegie Hall. I will be in these places, but I'm not going to be alone.
No.
And actually, to tell you the truth,
yep,
I'm so freaking glad that I've experienced what I've experienced in the last 6 years. Because it's actually brought me back to where we are here right now, and it's all about today and the now.
Yes.
That meeting you, meeting other people, oh my gosh, meeting Sock Radio, Tracy, Julie, everybody that's been working for years and years because they believed in something.
Yes.
So it's all happening, and these amazing, incredible people are coming along in support of each other as who they are. And that's what I love about it. That's why we are here as a walk-in. That's why we are here as a humanity. But I just want to touch, I've got to say this. I just want to touch just simply on this moment and this time. Don't ever think that you cannot do anything out there in the world. I don't listen to the news, or I don't listen to this, but there's a lot about Trump, and there's a lot about this one, there's a lot about that one, there's a lot about happenings out there in the world.
Yep.
Everybody in some way, in their thought, in their heartfelt center, can make a change. It only takes 3 people.
Correct.
If people understand, ultimately at the end of the day, it only takes 3 people to be change and make change in the world. You can actually do it.
Yes.
And it's having the confidence of knowing of actually who you are, not as ego, not as I'm special or the chosen one. Look, let's get rid of that shit.
I agree.
I really need to get rid of the shit. There is nothing different to me or you or Tracy who is here. I am just completely, simply a walk-in that's come in because I've been asked to. And I am no different to any other human being. I am no different to other being, if that makes sense. I've had enough people in my lifetime to put me on a pedestal, and I refuse it. And quite frankly, I don't want to have anything to do with it. We have the capability to be change in this world, even between James and I speaking here right now, because of the vibration of who we are as an individual and collectively. We can be change out into the world. And you don't give yourself enough credit. Humanity doesn't give themselves enough credit. I'm just so thankful to have met so many precious, human, gorgeous walk-ins, star beings, whatever. But I'm not interested in the past. I'm not interested in, can I say this, James?
Of course you can.
I am not interested in the Pleiades. I'm not interested in Sirius. I'm not interested in that stuff. I'm not interested in crystals. I'm not interested in this and this and this and this. I'm interested in the future. And where we are sitting here right now talking in this radio show, we are the future. If we only learn to listen. Because we wouldn't be here if that was so. It's just a beautiful unfolding of a plan. There are things that I do not believe in, but there are things that I do believe in, and that is right here, right now, making a difference in people's lives, because I am only interested in the now, not the past, not the present, but right now.
And you know, one of the things that I really like about what you've just said, I mean, I do channel beings that would be classified as extraterrestrials. Mm-hmm. I've done it for a very, very long time. I am fully aware that I technically would be classified as an extraterrestrial myself.
Yes.
And I am fully aware. I mean, at my last job, they actually called me the extraterrestrial. So, yes. I mean, it's not like, you know, I was hiding that aspect of myself. But having said that, one of the things that you said that I find so very powerful, I don't really concern myself with the Pleiades, the Arcturians, beings like this. And the reason that I don't is very simple. It's kind of like, you know, I have met people who are so enamored because they have been told or they have remembered a previous incarnation where they resided in Egypt or somewhere like that. And the next thing you know, they're actually pretending to dress up as Egyptians and stuff like this because they're trying to regather all that. All of that's it's idiotic in my view. Mm. It's like you reside here on this planet in this incarnation. Now, for somebody who does a lot of past life work, which I do, yes. And I tell people 3 different past lives in the reading that I do. I always tell people, I say, look, at the end of the day, if you want to go and explore your past lives, great. But if you do that, do it for entertainment purposes or do it because you're trying to discover if there is a past life or something that is influencing your current incarnation. Yes. Don't go, well, I was so-and-so. It's like, I don't care, okay? Because it doesn't matter who you were, because the only lifetime that it really matters for us is this current incarnation, the one that you're living right now. This is the one that you have to live. This is the one that you have to step up in. This is the one that you are accountable to. As far as a previous incarnation, you were accountable to that incarnation at that time, not now. So that's just, I'll get off my soapbox now. Well, would you stop asking if you could say something? Of course you can.
I didn't even know anything about past lives. I knew nothing about past lives. I knew nothing about Akashic records. I knew nothing about anything up until recently because I didn't really need to know.
No.
And then when I saw people floundering around, I decided to do a little bit of a study and I go, well, what is this? Where does this come from? And believe me, viewers, believe me, people, I'm not condemning or putting anything down. I'm into the believing of what you're actually putting yourself into. and actually it's trauma sometimes. With all my clients around the world, I'm actually cleaning up trauma, PTSD, into the fact that they were told that they were this person and that person, and all of a sudden they're finding out that they're not that person in past life.
Exactly.
And I want you to understand, viewers, that this is where I'm coming from. It's the fact of the matter is I'm interested in who you are here, the beautiful human being that you are. I don't need to go down the track of past life. There only maybe one person that I understand, and that's James, but we won't tell him, okay? We just simply won't tell him that I trust. I've never trusted anybody. Because I've seen destruction. I've seen people's lives completely change and so much. And, I'm the CEO of this global summit. I am working with another human being. But I see people. I see their brilliance, their beauty, their magnificence of all that is. You're here for a reason. So I tap into that and I bring out the best in people. I guess that we have over 1 million viewers, don't we, James?
Yeah.
It's going to be bigger than that one day.
Definitely.
It's so huge. And I'm not I don't need to know about I know the dark and I know the light. And that's my giftings. Your giftings, viewers, may be completely different to mine, but I go into why something's not working. I put the dots and the T's into something, and I tell you what, within seconds, miracles happen between people's lives, and I'm humbled and I'm grateful to be able to do that for humanity.
And it is vitally important to understand and to realize that we are on a journey, and for the people listening to this show, it's something that I actually mentioned to Heather this morning when we had a chat, and you guys are here seeing the start of something that is going to become so global and so amazing and so incredible that it is going to literally rock and change this world. And what we're doing this morning is just a beginning of something that is going to be mind-blowing.
Wow. It is.
And I'm also, and I will firmly own this. There are very, very few, and I wanted to acknowledge what you said, because there are very, very few individuals that I personally trust. And the main person, of course, for me is my wife, who is my twin flame, who is everything, literally, for me. And you are another one that I have that level of trust with. And that, for me, to actually publicly state that is, well, it is actually very big and very major in my reality and in my space.
I too. And how did we meet?
We met doing the Global Rising Summit.
Oh, wow.
So we've actually known each other for about a year.
Yes.
And but there's been a lot of different things going on, and everything. And it's like I said earlier, when with regards to doing this show with Heather, it's all about divine time. It's all about putting things together at the right moment, at the right time, for the greatest good. Now, we have been focused for the last 40 minutes on putting an energy out there for every person who's listening to this show. And it's going to, you will notice over the course of the next 72 hours, changes happening within you. And this isn't fantasy, this is reality. This is what's going on. And we're able to do this because we already did the first thing that every person and any person who wants to walk a spiritual path has to do. We believe in ourselves. We acknowledge who we are, and we acknowledge why we're here. You know, that's where it is, and that's what it's all about, you know. So it's very important to recognize and understand that this, you know, we are delving into things now that a lot of people avoid, and a lot of people, you know, they don't want to go there. And we are, you know, we get to a point, you get to a point in your life where you have to ask yourself a simple question. And the question that you have to ask yourself is, am I actually willing? Am I actually willing to step into who I know I am? And if the answer is no, then you better get to work. So one of the things that I wanted to touch upon, we've been talking about a lot of different things today. You are currently in the process of the second Global Rising Summit.
Yes.
And I was wondering if you would like to speak about that a little bit.
Okay, the Global Rising Summit is about bringing people around the world together. It is actually taking people and showcasing people on a collective field of their beauty. And what we do is actually bring people out. You know, whether it be a story, whether it be a business, whether it be to be seen out in the communities, because it's a big wide world out there. And people don't have, how can I say that, James?
Sometimes people don't have the courage.
The courage.
Yeah.
So there is a space that is created for many, many people. We begin in June. We're starting to begin the filming. I do the filming. I'm the technical person. Janine Savient is the person that gathers the people. But I bring people together all over the planet. Beautiful, courageous, brave, beautiful people. And I create a space in media, technically, for these people to be seen. But my motto is, for all humanity, when one is seen, everybody is. It's not about specialness. It's about people coming together from all walks of life, joining together and sharing one another, basically, because it's not about you. It's about all human being, kindness. So we have people all over the world from all walks of life who may be really good at some sort of modality. I get to see people behind the scenes and the technical stuff. I film them. I put it into every media possibly. But I was given this possibly about a year ago, wasn't it, James?
Yeah.
That I must do this. I must find the misfits in the world, the quirky ones, the funny ones, the beautiful ones that are going to make a difference in the world. And the reason why I did this is because it's not up to a certain sort of a person. And please, you know, people, it's not about you know, the great ones, the writers, like it's about everybody, the nurses, the doctors, the mothers, the fathers, the teachers, the homeless. It's about gathering everybody else's story. So I was put in a position having to learn from ground zero. How could I help these people? And over the last 24 hours, I've been building websites because that's my gift into humanity, because this is what I can do. That's my playtime because I'm an artist. I love paying it forward. When I see someone that has a gift for humanity and they're struggling, I wait, I sit and drop and listen. How can I help this person? And then I offer my services. It may take me 2 days, it may take me 3 days, but I'm always gifting out because I see the beauty in somebody. But my ultimate passion, basically, James, and you know this, is that I love standing in front of thousands of people. And I just love looking through people's bodies, through no matter who, cancers, brains, you name it, blood. That's my forte.
Yes.
But
I love doing the same thing, standing in front. Yeah. Same. Yeah.
And
I mean, at the end of the day, that actually is what drives both you and I.
mm-hmm.
So definitely.
I cannot do something that I'm not giving back out to. And when I see someone who is struggling, help. I'm good at that, and I will devote my time and I gift out into the world. And it's always been a gift, is because that's my playtime. But my ultimate is the healing industry, and we're about to blow that apart, aren't we, James?
We are. And I mean, you know, like you mentioned earlier about the type of things that you can do on a physical level, and where you do that on a physical level, I do that on an etheric level.
Well, James, can I just say something about James Devitt here? Viewers?
Oh, God.
Oh, no, listen. You know, we're coming up to the hour again.
Yeah,
you know, there was times there that I was floundering, and we all floundering. We do flounder, not knowing. But James has this incredible ability to get in, and he's able to find out where the attacks come from. I'm talking about the spiritual realm. I'm talking about the full-blown attacks. James was able to tell me where, what, how, and why. Because we need that. We need to know who is attacking us. And he has helped me tremendously. So he has this huge aspect, actually, to be really truthful. Not about the healing. It's not about anything else. Because the ones that are behind the scenes, like James, is the ones that keep humanity afloat. And that's why I honour you, James. Thank you.
It's always strange, and I always kind of find it strange. We tend, or I have always tended, and I mean, I've already been told very, very succinctly and very directly that my time of standing over in the shadows is coming to an abrupt end very soon. And I recognize that, and I acknowledge that, and I know that what's coming is going to be powerful and life-altering and life-changing, and I acknowledge that, and you know, and I know it's coming. But at the same time, it is very humbling when you just go and you do what you do, and somebody says, I see you, and I recognize you, and I recognize what you do. And so I thank you very much for that. That's very special to me.
Thank you. Thank you for helping for so many people, James.
Well,
you've helped me.
Like you said, we are here to assist, and we are here to be of service. And there's a lot going on in this world, and there's a lot happening in this world. And it's really important for people to step back and don't be so taken in with what people, say that you should be focused on. Focus instead on what resonates deepest within your heart. Because if you focus on that, you'll actually discover that your life will actually work a hell of a lot better, and you won't be so bogged down by trivial things that, in truth, just really don't matter. Now, what I'd like to do, we got 10 minutes,
Yes.
and I know we've just, I literally I could talk for hours upon hours upon hours with you, and I love that interaction, but I do apologize because we've kind of, we've got a little bit of time. So if anyone in the chat room has a question that they would like to ask either myself or Heather, please type it in now. I am so thankful. Or what?
Or they may have an ailment.
Yeah, put it out. Put it out there.
Put it out there.
And while we're waiting, because I do understand it takes a little bit of time to type out a little response. I run across that myself sometimes. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. Now, we got a question here from Evergreen. Were you going to go ahead and put that energy out into the etheric field for everyone? Yes, we have put that out into the etheric field for everyone to access. You can't help but do so anyway. When you do a healing on somebody, there is a part of that goes into the etheric field anyway, into the collective unconsciousness. And it is, that's just what's going to happen at all times. And so anybody will be able to access the healing energies that we've been putting out there for the last hour. They simply have to be open to receiving it. If they go around and they ask for a healing, they may receive it that way as well. There's many different ways. So, if there is one thing, Heather, here we go, Heather. This is also from Evergreen. I am really having problems with ringing in both ears.
Yeah, I can do that. Has it just come through now?
Yes, she's just typed that into the chat room.
Okay. May I? Yeah.
Yeah, please. So while she's doing that, Evergreen, I just want you to just focus on being open to receiving the healing energy that is coming in, and being open to receiving not only the healing energy, but the love and compassion and everything that goes along with that as well. And the more you can open yourself to receiving that, you'll begin to feel things happening. You'll begin to feel things happening within yourself, and very likely you'll start to feel things happening with your ears.
It's happened now. It's done. Can she reply to you?
Yes.
It's cleared. Yeah, it's done.
So she says, sure can. So
yeah, it's done.
Excellent.
She needs to look to the left, and then she needs to look to the right again.
She says that she's feeling very, very warm now.
Yeah, no, it's gone. Hey, brilliant. Beautiful. When we've begun now, I could just go whole humanity with limbs.
I know.
But yeah, it's clear. She's clear. She needs to look to the left and she needs to look to the right, and there's going to be a click happen. She's clear. How beautiful is that? But I don't stop there. Between the hours of 7 and 8 a.m. in New Zealand time for 5 days, I still work on you.
So she says that she's feeling very, very warm, especially on her chest, and that she has looked both left and right.
Beautiful. Stunning.
She says, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome.
So there you go. We have just shown you anything is possible.
Beautiful.
So the first thing that you need to do now is to go out there and look yourself in the face and say, I am sacred and I am worthy for all the blessings that can come my way. And accept it, mean it, feel it. If you say it and you go, oh, that really kind of sounds stupid, keep saying it. Keep saying it until you can say it and go, I honestly feel it. I can honestly feel it and mean it. And that is when everything will start changing in your life. And Evergreen, you just got an experience of how powerful this is. And don't even have to be in the same room. It is that powerful. I'm actually doing a distance healing myself in about a half an hour or so. And I did a distance healing on somebody that's over in Australia just like 2 weeks ago, and it made such a difference. We are able to do anything.
Did you know that I did gallbladders and obesity? They have lost weight within seconds.
Maybe I should be talking to you about that.
I did tummy tucks and everything. So Evergreen, sweetheart, I've just clicked the base of your skull. You'll be able to hear more and you'll be able to be more, sweetheart. That's just happens.
So there you go. So I want to say, sign me up for the obesity treatment.
As you just said it, it's done. So let me know in a couple of days. Let the viewers know. Okay.
So
thank you so much.
I want to thank you, Heather, from the bottom of my heart for taking time out of your day to come and be with me on this show today. It has been a cracker of a show. I have loved this from start to finish, and I cannot wait to see what's going to be transpiring in the next couple of months as we move forward from here.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sock Radio, and thank you, James.
Now, there again, you can find us online. You can find us on Sock Radio. And on top of this, please, everyone, be good to yourself. Now, next week, I'm going to have Jeanette Jade, the psychic medium, on the show, and we're going to have 2 hours of a lot of fun. And if you heard us last week on Myths and Legends, you'll know that we really bounce off each other quite a bit. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful day. Be good to yourself. And remember, you are capable of anything. So, from Sock Radio, have a wonderful day.
Thanks for
See you later.
listening to James Devitt on SOC Radio. Join us next time for more of the same from spirituality in the 21st century.